whenever you're going to go as a leader into a process, just ask yourself, how much of myself is necessary in this process? So the Pearl, I guess I was thinking about stories that were relevant to the topic that we're studying, but I know that it's broader than that. And so the Pearl for today, I have a little story that's related to what we're studying with evaluation and supervision. And then just the main idea is applicable to many other things. I haven't worked in leadership or in an official capacity yet, but I've obviously had a lot of leaders above me, and this is something that I saw one of my bosses do, which I thought was really effective. So I thought it would be handy to share. I was working in this traveling boarding school for a few years called Think Global School, which was really dynamic. We changed country every 4 months. We took the kids with us all the time. And we had a very small, limited capacity for staff. We had a very small faculty. So we didn't have subs to travel with us. We had to sort of do everything with the small team that we had. For supervision, and what they used for evaluation was this thing called peer-to-peer assessment. And what they did was they brought in an expert from the outside who trained us as people who would be able to give feedback to each other. So what we did was each of the teachers chose an area that they wanted to be observed on from the document that specified what the teacher should be doing. And then 2 teachers would come into your classroom. One of them would sit down and record everything that you did in a wide angle lens with a computer and the laptop. They would try to write down as much as possible. And the other one had a really zoomed in sort of approach to exactly the thing that you had said you wanted to be observed in. And they spent there the whole lesson, and then afterwards they did a debrief with the teacher for 1 hour, and that conversation was recorded on video live, where the 2 teachers gave specific and general feedback to that teacher, and then that video got sent to the expert, who then checked it and gave feedback to the teachers on how well they had provided their own feedback. And that process kept on going until the teachers became good enough at giving feedback that then it became self-run, and the principal would just come into certain conversations or into watch the video whenever he had a particular concern about a teacher. So that saved him a lot of time too. This worked really, really well. And one thing I realized is that the process, what the headmaster did, which is what is related to the Pearl, is that some aspects of the process were decided by the teacher, others were decided together by the whole team, and others were decided by the principal. And that was very, very clear what each of those things was. For example, the principal decided that this was the whole system that we were going to use. And he called that an I decide. This is like an I decide, we're going to do this, guys. And we were all like, okay, I guess we're going to do this. And then we did it. Then the you decide was the teacher actually chose what aspect they wanted to be observed at. That was their choice. It's like, I get to choose what feedback I received. That was you decide. And then we decide was at the end of the whole process, we all decided whether we liked it and whether we wanted to repeat it the next day. And that was the we decide. And so what we found is that this headmaster used these I decide, we decide, and you decide all the time. Every time we had a meeting, we had a discussion, it was always really clear what territory we were in. If we were an I decide, we were just receiving a mandate and we knew that we had very little power. If it was a we decide, we went in, we had a debate, we gave feedback, blah, blah, blah. And if it was a you decide, we were like, okay, we're being delegated the content now. And then we actually knew we had a lot more responsibility and we had to get together separately and make decisions. And I just found that clarity really helped, because we didn't offer feedback that was unsolicited or get angry about things we had no right to change, or, it was just very, very clear and very, very honest. And sometimes we didn't really agree. We thought something should have been a we decide, but the fact was that the principal being that assertive really helped with clarity, and I thought it was really handy. So I guess the summary of the Pearl, I would say, is just, whenever you're going to go as a leader into a process or into a meeting or into something like that, just ask yourself, how much of myself is necessary in this process? Like how much of me, how much of my ego, how much of my input, how much of me is necessary in this whole thing? How much can I delegate and give away? And asking that question regularly, I think, gets the right level of involvement from the people that work with us. So I thought that worked really well, and I hope it's useful. Thank you.